hello awakened. Oh my God. No. Hello reconnected women. Oh my gosh. I've just had a massive mind blank. I'm just recovering from a cold, so I'm super nasally and don't even know what I'm saying half the time, clearly.
But you could be awakening. Maybe that's why it came to you. Like, who knows?
Oh
We
God.
are recording on Halloween. And we just thought, well, let's chat about Halloween, what our views are on it, and just bring our light today. Because I I'll be honest, I don't really get into Halloween. Like, I don't know about you, but it just doesn't excite me at all. Like,
Okay, what I love about Halloween is the dress ups. So
okay.
last year when we were in Melbourne, um, we were staying in this house that was like on just like a little street. But what I loved is that I have always like lived in houses that have been on an easement, like in a battle axe. So
Yeah.
when it comes to like Halloween, all that kind of stuff, nobody ever like came down to our place. Or it's the same with like Christmas time, right? No point doing all these big Christmas decorations or lights because no one's going to see them.
Yeah.
So the cool thing was in Melbourne was that we were right on the street front, and apparently this whole street really gets into it. And so we did decorations, and then we had all of these lollies, and we had all these kids come and trick or treat, and we also had Ella like dressed up in a little tutu.
Oh, cute.
And it was a lot of fun. Um, and at the same time, I found it was really interesting the type of costumes that some of the kids were wearing. I was like, okay. I don't know if this is appropriate or like, but
Oh, right. Like what?
I was just like really gory stuff. And I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
you're like 10. I don't know if that's like really an appropriate thing to be.
I
Like,
watched this video before and it made me laugh so hard about it was costumes. It looked like it was filmed in an aged care facility, and all these older people had created costumes, and it was like you had to guess who they were. And this one man, he had like a waistband on where he'd taped all these watches like around his waist, and they're like, and who are you meant to be? And he's like, I'm a waste of time. And just couldn't stop laughing.
that's
It was
amazing.
hilarious. And then this other woman had all these spices taped to her shirt, like from the cupboard, like spices that you put in food. And she's like, I'm a spice girl. And I was just like, oh, this is so cute. I love the how creative it can be. I guess that side of Halloween's pretty cool, like you say. But the darkness is like something I'm like, oh, like I know that it's just part of life, and there's when there's light, there's dark, but yeah, I'm not into the gory death scene or connected to like that weird horror shit. Like it honestly keeps me up at night. I don't want to feel it or see it.
I hate watching horror movies. Um, like I just absolutely hate it. And I mean, I also believe, and I know that you're the same, that what you allow, you attract. So, yeah, I mean, I've just heard of friends watching like even Stranger Things, like friends watching Stranger Things, and then there's weird things that end up happening in their house. And I'm like, well, you've opened up your home to that energy. You've
100%.
subconsciously, if you're watching that kind of stuff, then you are then giving permission for that type of energy to be around you. And I'm like,
We don't
no,
need that.
thank you. And all I say is, like, as always, just be aware. Like, still
Yeah.
got to live our lives, right? Like, we've still got to have fun and all those things. But I'm just like, no, thank you. I'm not open to that stuff. I don't find that entertaining at all.
No. And like I remember when I was a teenager and you know, everyone wants to go and see horror movies because they think it's fun. And I was just kind of following the crowd a little bit. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to go, but all my friends want to go. And I went and I saw, I think it was Amityville Horror. And every time something would happen on the clock at like, I don't even remember the time. Say it was like 3:44 a.m. and it would happen, there'd be a scene where something would happen at that time and they'd flash the clock. And I was waking up at that time every night for weeks and weeks. Like, so yeah, exactly what you say. When you open yourself up to that, something happens. And yeah, it was actually becoming part of my life. And I was actually terrified for weeks. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, I know. And like, okay, so I was the same. Like, as a teenager, I would watch all these scary movies because, that's what we did.
Yeah.
Um, and I hated watching the paranormal stuff. Like, just anything that was spiritual, anything like that. I was just like, no, because I believe in that stuff. So
Yeah.
there's no way that I want to watch that or just even be open to it. Um, so yeah, but I actually, as a young adult, because I'm not a young adult anymore, dude, you are so loud.
It's funny
Um,
to chat on the podcast today. I was just
yes.
thinking.
Um, like in my early 20s, I loved watching was it Ghost Stories with Jennifer Love Hewitt? Go
Yes, yes. I love that too.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Um, yeah, I just I have always been fascinated by spirits, and at the same time, I'm just very aware of what I'm open to.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the same with like Ouija boards as well. I will not touch them.
No,
No,
my mum did that when she was young, and she told us it was awful. Like she had a really awful experience, and yeah, she will not touch anything like that. And she warned us, and I was like, okay, I'm never ever doing that, never ever. But
yeah,
yeah,
because like with anything, there is light, and when there is light, there is darkness. That's just the law of polarity. And um, yeah, I just don't open myself up to those types of things. But I guess also when you're young, you're like, yeah, let's like.
that's
But even
definitely
when I was at high school and we were at a party and there was a group of them doing Ouija board, I was like, nah, I'm tapping out. No, thank you. Just like there was just something, and even back then, I'd never had really any experiences with spirits, but there was just something like my intuition was just telling me
don't
that,
go there.
yeah, it was just like, no, this is no. Um, so
Have you ever seen a ghost? I want to ask you this, just popped in my head. Have you ever seen a ghost or like a face?
no, I've never like I don't see things, I sense things. There have been times like when I've been at someone's house or I've even been at my house and I just like see like a shadow move or it's like at the corner of my eye and I'm like, what was that? And then I do a cleansing or just like tell it to leave. Um, but I've never actually seen anything. No. Have you?
Yeah. My sister has she used to, I don't think she has it anymore. But when she was younger, she lived in her own place. She didn't have any housemates or anything. And there was someone, I believe he's from a past life, that was her guardian and that would watch over her in the house because she lived by herself. And I had to live with her for 6 weeks in between building a house and it being ready. Like I was in a rental and that got sold from underneath us, so we had to live there for 6 weeks anyway. And I remember sleeping in the spare room and I would wake up in the middle of the night. Like I was always getting a disturbed sleep there. And I woke up and this man was literally standing there and it was like this grey, white, washed. It was like someone was projecting it. Like it just seems so weird to explain, like to see, because you're like, is this real? Am I awake? Like, but he was there and I was like, oh my God. And I freaked out, turned around, went back to sleep. But because I stayed there for a period of time, he was visiting me regularly, so it wasn't a one-off. He was like going, who the hell are these people in her house? So I told my sister, and she's like, oh yeah, that's that's my he just looks after me. He's always here. Whenever I have people stay, he harasses them to be like, go away. Like, why are you here? It's like, dude, that's terrifying. Like, who's this guy? He was like, he would appear as this man in his like 70s or whatever, but he was somehow connected to my sister. And yeah, he would just protect her. Really, yeah. So I saw him a few times, but I also saw like something in this house once, and I've seen things on the occasion, maybe 3 or 4 times. But in this house, it was a past owner. So when we were renovating, they weren't happy with the renovating we were doing. Like the energy was really weird in the house. I mean, it gets a bit crazy when you renovate, as you probably know. But there was apparently we learnt from the neighbors an Asian family that lived here, and they were a bit older, like the parents were. So this is like 20, 30, 20 years down the line, we're owning it. And the guy was like in my face when I woke up one day, and it was like this Asian man. And then when I found out from my neighbor that that was a family that lived here and did all the original extension of this, so they were really proud of what they'd done, he was like, maybe he's coming because you're disturbing the energy of the house when you're renovating. So that was a bit weird.
And then, like, when did he go away? When did it stop?
It took, I did a lot of cleansing and things. I only saw him once, but yeah, everything didn't feel settled until for a couple of weeks. It was like an acceptance thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never seen anything, and to be honest, I don't actually know if I want to
Yeah.
see things. Um, I there's this chick that I used to work with, and she has this sense where she just knows that something's going to happen before it happens.
Wow.
And she had this like old man attached to her, like in his house, in her house. And because she's got a camera in her house, she caught this ghost on camera. And like there is a screenshot, and you can see him. You can see he's wearing like this old vest.
Wow.
Yeah. And then she did some research because he was like messing around with things in the house and like um yeah, doing all this weird stuff. But she just like froths off that paranormal stuff. Um and she did some research, and there was like this murder that happened in Ipswich area, and it was on a newspaper article, and it had like it was back in, I don't know, maybe the 1920s or something like that. And she saw this newspaper article of all this staff standing out the front, and they have the same uniform that this guy was wearing that is clearly captured in her camera. Like,
Wow.
yeah. Um, so it's crazy. Like, you just can't make that kind of stuff up. And
No.
um, yeah, but I can sense things. Like, I think I mentioned it in a past episode when I was in Scotland, and just feeling like I was being watched.
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes, I mean, sometimes I don't know if I'm gaslighting myself because I'll feel like something's behind me, or like I'm being watched, or there's someone behind me, and I'm like, am I just like making this up in my head? But I still say like, go away, you're not welcome. Um,
Yeah. I don't think that's fake. Like, I think if you feel it, it's right. I don't know if this happens to you, but I get it in my car. Like, I feel like someone's sitting in the back, and I'm like, no one's there. Like, why do I feel like someone's in the back? But it's not a bad feeling. Like, it feels like a good spirit. Like, but I feel like I've got company in the back sometimes. Like, it happened the other day. I was like, someone's sitting here, but I can't see them. I just can feel the presence.
isn't that really cool at the same time to be like, okay, I can just feel that there's a presence here. Like, it's that whole thing of just this, everything is energy, everyone, like, everything has a vibration, whether it's us or a plant or a chair. Like everything's got a vibration and a frequency, and we can just pick up on it.
Hmm. Definitely.
And I just find that just so fascinating on itself. It's like when you walk into a room and you can just tell that people have been fighting. It's like this, like,
Yeah.
the energy, right? And I just think, like, how do people not believe in this stuff? Because we can just it's so clearly there, even though you
Yeah.
can't see it. It's like gravity, right? Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Um, I love how Ricky explains it when people ask her about the energy that she does, like the work that she does as an energy healer. And she's like, well, my husband's an electrician. We know electricity's there, but we can't see it.
Mm.
Like it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Um, and energy is everywhere, and there is lightness and darkness, and um, it's not to be afraid of the darkness, but it's just to be aware of it, really.
Mm. Yeah. And it's like wait, following your own internal compass, I find like with certain energy, you just vibe with it or you don't. Like you can walk in, like a perfect example was when I was in hospital earlier this year. And I really don't like being in hospitals because there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of spirit energy, a lot of everything. And I was pretty lucky to be in a single room most of the time, but at one point I had to go into the transit care where you sort of sit in a wall facing another wall of people and you're waiting to be transferred to your next ward or to go, or there's people waiting to be discharged. And I was just like, oh, as soon as I walked in there, I hadn't even looked at the people, but I walked in and this was outside of emergency. So you can imagine the types of people that are coming in after emergencies. Like some of them are legitimately not well, but other people it's self-inflicted. So they might have been super intoxicated and been in a fight. And, they were the sort of people that were in there. And there was this guy sitting opposite me, and he had been fighting. He'd broken his arm. He was very angry. He's still in that energy. And I was like, oh, and I was just like trying to block it in every way. I had like a blanket around me. I was just like, and yeah, it's just, you've got to follow that internal compass and protect yourself, which I think we've spoken about before. But that just sensing the energy that's not in a good place and just like, don't want to tap into that, don't want to look into attract that energy to me at all. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I was actually chatting to one of the mums the other day in a mum group, and we had a really good conversation about energy and frequency. And she was telling me how she's got a few kids, and one of them's at school, and the teacher was playing music in the classroom, and the music they were playing was like, have you heard of was it Demon Hunters or what's it called? It's called K-pop Demon Hunters, and
I've,
it's a TV show.
I've heard of it because my
Yeah,
friends' kids watched it at my place when they came over and they were like, oh, we want to watch, excuse me, this. And I was like, what?
yeah. So this apparently in schools it is all the rage. It's like I was even talking to my sister the other day, and they went to a party, and all the kids were dancing to one of the K-pop Demon Hunter songs, and they all knew the words. And it was like a Taylor Swift song was playing. Like everybody knew the dance moves and the words to it. And anyway, this was one of the songs that they were playing in class at this lady's son's class, and she was like, it literally was saying things like, I'm going to take your soul and all that kind of stuff. And
Oh my God.
I, I mean, we're on the same page with this kind of stuff. Like, words have have power and have a frequency, and whether you believe in that stuff or not, I'm just like, for me, I believe in the darkness and obviously the light, and it's just like, what is this like stuff that these kids are watching that like is talking about that kind of stuff? Like
Yeah.
it's like we've become desensitized so much. Like it's just insane. And like I know that as kids we would listen to, music like the thong song and like all of that stuff and all like hit me baby one more time, and we had no idea
What it
what
meant.
what it
I mean,
meant.
I think there's a curiosity with everyone as kids, hey, like to sort of look into all and then you make your mind up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I think the difference these days, though, is that there is so much more darkness in the world right now than there was when we were kids. I honestly like think that that is the difference now. Um, like, no, we can't shelter our kids, and like, yes, they're going to listen to songs that have inappropriate lyrics that they probably don't even understand and are completely oblivious to, like when we were singing "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." um, or Barbie Girl. Like,
yeah,
so all of that stuff, we would just be listening to it really innocently. But the difference, I think, now is that there is so much external influence in the world as as opposed to when we were kids. And I
yeah,
think that's where a lot of these conversations are coming from now, where it's like people are more aware of what kids are being exposed to and what we're being exposed to
yeah,
because we're exposed to so much.
yeah.
What's your thoughts on all of that?
Um, I genuinely feel like I think people have, I mean, kids are a bit different because they're innocent and curious, but I do feel like people are drawn to certain things that have a certain frequency, so that matches their energy. So if someone's going to listen to heavy metal music, for example, and watch horror movies, and there's something that they're getting from that energetically that's making them feel good, and it's
Yeah,
aligned with their energy, and who they are as a soul or where they're at that point in life. It doesn't mean that it can't change. Um, but I know from my experience, I'm only drawn to things that make me feel good and feel aligned with me energetically, like music and TV shows and content and all that sort of stuff. Like when I look at my social media feed, it's really quite spiritual and nature inspired, and it's people who are on my sort of level. So I wonder too sometimes, are we caught up in like our little tunnel vision path? I am not. I don't look at all that really bad stuff, but I guess it's out there because there's people watching it and getting into it. But I just like to think I have this view that like I like to think that we're moving into uh, a sort of place where the light is starting to gain traction, and there's more of those sorts of people and more of that energy. I'd like to think that that's coming into our lives a bit more.
yeah, yeah. I guess it's also the thing when there's more light, there's more dark as well. Like the light gets lighter and the dark gets darker. I don't know. Like it's
But do you think that eventually there will? I have this belief that, okay, if you've got a really light energy, right? It's so polar opposite to darkness. Sometimes those things just turn away from each other. So it's almost like you're living in a different reality within the same world, you know? Unless there's someone that's consciously trying to bring the light down. Okay, this is getting weird, but I'm just like, I'm sort of thinking that, put it this way, I've had this experience, right? I was with this really high vibrational spiritual mentor that I had a few years ago, and we went to I think it was like a cancer event, cancer council event or something. And it was really like positive vibes. Everyone there was trying to raise money and do all this really cool stuff. And it was on the Gold Coast. And we walked around from where we parked, and there was all sorts of people, as you know, on the Gold Coast. And there was someone there that they just looked like they were sort of on substance of some sort. And he directly looked at me and her and just like had to look away. Like it was like this reaction of this, oh, that energy is not for me or whatever. It was almost, and I've had that happen a couple of times, and I've just gone, okay, that's interesting. When we've thought sometimes, or is portrayed in movies, that darkness is this really powerful being that can just like come in and destroy the world. Well, equally, light is powerful, and I feel like that can like, really turn the darkness away. So that's my view anyway.
Yeah, and it's really interesting just seeing what's going on right now when there's a lot of people turning to religion and turning to Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that is just the perfect explanation of what what's actually going on right now. Like there is so much, like as I said, there's a lot more darkness than when we were kids, like just so much coming at us that people are turning to the light. And when you're like so light, when you're so in your truth, when you're so convicted in your truth as well, and so connected to yourself, that darkness does turn away and like doesn't touch you because it's like, no, I can't be touched. You can't touch me. Like this is,
Yeah.
I know who I am. I know that I'm connected to source or creator or Jesus or whatever your belief is. Um, so yeah, absolutely. Like the light is this powerhouse that is going to bring the right people towards you, but also like blind the darkness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Blind
good way
people
of putting
who
it.
don't want all the negative energies and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so I've been so fascinated by um this new wave of people that are turning to Jesus and Christianity. It's been so fascinating for me, and I just love hearing people's journeys and their reasons why, or like the moments that like, oh, actually, no, this is my truth now. I just found it so interesting, and it just makes so much sense with what's going on in the world right now, right? There's just so much darkness that people are turning to the light.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, it's still like really important to have fun, but I think what's the most important thing is just being aware of it. I think that's the most important thing. Is like, yes, I will go to a Halloween party and I will dress up because it's fun because I love dressing up. And at the same time, I'm aware of my own energy and I'm aware of what can be going on. And
Yeah.
I just don't open myself up to that and I just don't allow that to happen. Um, and I think that's just with like anything, right? Like you walk into like a room or like a party or a meeting or whatever, and you're like, I don't open myself up to negative people. Like
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
And I love when you say nothing can come in, nothing can come out. That saying that you say, I've
Yeah.
actually started doing it on a daily basis, just stating it because I would sort of do the protective bubble visualization, but now just having that like statement of this is what's happening right now is strong enough. As much as like crystals and tools and protective things are really cool, um, yeah, I think this powerful statement is enough. So I use it now in my daily, which is good. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I used to think that there was all these like special things that you had to do to be protected or and all that stuff, but it's really just a choice and it's just well, it's just a decision. You just gotta decide, right? Just claim it. Um
I've I've been getting so many white feathers lately as a sign that have been coming in. Yeah.
That's cool. Like,
So that
the
means protection.
confirmation for a particular thing, or
No, I haven't been asking for any. I did ask for a specific sign actually. I and I'll share it. I'm just checking, am I allowed to share it? Yes. Um, so the white feathers are just random. And I was like, why am I seeing white feathers? And then I looked it up and it was like protection and all this. So it's part of what I'm going through. I'm just very protected at the moment, which is good to know. But I was like trying to communicate. I've started meditating now, trying to every day consciously sit down for 20 minutes, and it's really hard. But I was listening to someone the other day say it's like anything. It's a practice that you need to keep doing over and over and over again to be able to do it. Like if you want to like connect to your higher self or get some insight from like spirit or whatever, you need to like build this muscle and be able to bring your energy up to that point. So I'm like, right, I'm going to do this. So I got up this morning at like 4:22 is when I woke up, and I was like, oh, went outside, sat on the grass with my little meditation cushion. I'm like, so I asked my spirit baby, can I have a red feather? Because I thought that's very unique. I want a red feather. How often do you see red feathers? Don't really see them. I'm like, if you're real and you're not a figment of my imagination and you're like actually communicating with me, please send me a red feather. So I'm waiting on this sign. I haven't had it yet. I only asked for it yesterday. So I'll share with you guys if I get it. And I was telling Paul this morning and he's like, oh, that's very specific. I'm like, well, this is apparently how you've got to communicate with spirit. They ask for a certain sign. And that whole world of like being able, and I guess this is a side where I don't fear, is being connected to spirits of ancestors or past loved ones that we know, or like our team of light or whoever you believe it to be that supports you. Do you try and communicate? I know that when you've done energy healings and stuff comes through. Have you felt your team or like worked with signs much?
I work with signs quite a bit because it's so easy. It's such like a simple way to connect with your guides or just to get guidance, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so working with signs, I feel like is one of the first things that I really started to play around with. Um, but it's so interesting with all of like the trainings that I've done with um my energy healing and all of that stuff. I've never seen my guides. I've never really been able to feel like I can connect to them directly or like have this like close relationship with them.
Yeah.
And in saying that, am I actively trying to make a connection and build a relationship with them? No. So,
Yeah.
like, I guess the door swings both ways. Um, but yeah, I do find it fun. It's just even a fun thing to do, just to ask
It
for a
is.
sign.
Yeah.
Whether it is just like a feather or a sunflower. I mean, I don't ask for sunflowers now because they're my favorite
Did you
color.
get any signs before you knew you were pregnant with Grayson? That's what, because I'm really into that at the moment where women have been sharing their signs prior to finding out they were pregnant. And like there was a little thing, like, but some women were like, they didn't realize that they had signs until people were sharing these certain number sequences and things that were coming up for them. And they're like, apparently this means the feminine energy, which means pregnancy. And I was like, I didn't know that was a number sign either, which is 313. I didn't know that. Did you?
As in 333,
313.
313.
I've never heard of that one.
No.
Apparently that's a sign from the feminine.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, did you get any signs from Grayson before you knew?
No.
Wow.
Didn't get anything. I think I was just more so in the deep trusting and surrender.
Yeah.
But but no, I didn't. And like, I've spoken to other mums where they're like, I just could feel my baby, like sense my baby was around me before
Yeah.
pregnant. No,
Because
nothing.
apparently some babies go quiet too. So some babies in conception just don't give you any signs, and that's a sign that you're pregnant. So I've heard lots of things. So I just wondered, because I hadn't asked you, I'm like, did he give you signs for pregnancy? Because I know he was limited in signs in your during your pregnancy too. You were just in your little.
Apart from letting us know what he wanted to be named,
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
that's the only sign that I'm aware of that he gave us. That was
Yeah.
like, I'm so like 1,000% know that he was communicating to us that that's what his name was, or that's what he wanted to be named. Um, but no, like no other signs.
So I have this beautiful thing that happens to me. My uncle, who is actually my godfather, he's my mum's brother. Was such the most beautiful person, and I always felt connected to him because we grew up with that whole family. My cousins and I, and my brothers and sisters, and everything were all really close, and we'd hang out for birthdays, Christmases, no matter whose birthday it was. We'd always have like this big gathering, all of us. Anyway, he sadly passed. I think it's about 4 years ago now, but he regularly comes and visits me in my dreams. So, and I see him, and he'll like, there's always like a message or a little sign from him in my dreams. And I see his face and I'm like talking to him. It's so real. Like when I wake up the next day, I'm like, he visited me. And I tell my mum because it makes her happy. But this is quite a fun thing to share, being Halloween. She has this photo of my uncle on her TV unit, and so she can look at him all the time, and she chats to him and everything. It's helped her with the grieving process. But apparently, when they were kids, my uncle would move my mom's stuff around and like just wind her up and move her stuff. So this photo frame of his gets moved all the time. So she'll be like, "Who moved the photo frame?" And my brother and dad live with my mum, and they're like, "No, we haven't touched it. Why would we touch the photo frame? And she's like, "It's moved, and it's not just moved a little bit. Sometimes like moved like 180 degrees or whatever." So she realized that her brother was actually just saying, "Hey, I'm here," and moving his photo, like just as a way to communicate. And I know that he still communicates to like his kids, my cousins, and things like that, which is really cool. So even though he's passed, having that connection to an ancestor, and I'm saying this because the veil is thin at the moment in Halloween to connect with ancestors. So if anyone's interested in doing it, probably a good time to meditate and see if you can, or they might pop in dreams. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
So interesting because when I lived in Canada, I went over and stayed with one of my friends at her parents' house, and her brother had passed away many years ago. And on the windowsill, there is a photo of the four kids, and only his face is faded.
Wow.
Like, only his out of all the other kids in that photo. And I'm just like, far out. Like, it's just crazy and magical and yeah, like just hearing that kind of stuff. And I definitely know that my grandfather is still around.
Yeah.
Um, absolutely. I think it was like my grandmother said something to my mum the other day. I can't remember exactly what it was. I feel like, um, she was lying in bed and she heard my grandfather's voice.
Oh.
And I don't know what he said or something. I honestly, my memory is not great, but yeah, she's like, I just, it was like I was dreaming, but it was as clear as day, his voice. And Mum was like, oh, well, it was probably Dad. And Nana's like, oh, don't be silly. um, but yeah, like I absolutely believe that he's still I sense him still. I can still
Yeah.
feel him. Um, yeah, it's really cool. And I think it's really warming and um reassuring to have those feelings as well, to know that they're
Yeah,
still around and they're still looking out for you. Um, yeah, I think
definitely.
it's really beautiful to have that awareness and to be able to sense it, even if you can't see it.
Yeah, it makes you realize that there's things bigger than this earth and this human experience. I think that's what I love about spirituality is it's like I just believe in there being like constant consciousness and life outside of this one. And yeah, that you reunite with your loved ones that have passed, which is really cool because it can be a hard time for people when they lose. Like I've said to my dog, you can't leave. Like I know that dogs don't last long, and I just said no. Like you're here forever, and he's just looking at me like, dude, no, I don't want to be here forever. I want to go. Like,
I chose to be a dog for a reason.
yeah, I'm only here for a short time. That's all I can handle.
Yeah,
Like, but yeah.
yeah.
No, and
So
me
do
and my
you like,
husband talk about that too. Do you freak out about that? I used to have this fear of like, I don't want to be left alone. I don't want to be the last one left. And like, so we've made a pact, like everyone, we want to die together. So,
oh, absolutely. Like, I don't want to be the last one left, but I guess at the same time, you're never actually alone.
no. Yeah.
Like, yes, it's hard when all your family is gone, but then I guess like you've got like your kids then and your grandkids, so you're never actually going to be alone, even if the others that are older than you, or the same age of you as you, are gone.
Yeah.
Um, I've also um heard, because we both believe that we have many lives, and I've heard that um you kind of like switch roles when you come into a life. So like your husband could be your brother or like your
Yeah.
father, and I'm like, well, it just seems like really messed up and weird. Like I just can't even like fathom that. Um, but it's like you all reincarnate together and have different roles to play um to fulfill your karma and what you're here to learn in in this lifetime.
Mm.
And yeah, it's always interesting hearing other people's stories of like, well, yeah, like in a past life, um, like this person was my dad or whatever, or like my dog was my dad or whatever it was. Um, I always find it so interesting, and I also try and like wrap my head around it and try not to think about it too much because I'm like, I feel like it'll be like really messed up at this.
I know. Have you ever had a feeling that you knew someone um, when you met them, or you knew them already and you've known them before? Like,
Oh, absolutely. Like, I just get this. No, I think it's like most people, right? It's like you just meet someone and you can just talk for ages and ages, and it's like you've known them for forever. They're
yeah.
just so easy to get along with. They're just so, um, yeah, yeah. It's a really cool feeling.
Mm. Apparently, Paul and I had a past life together. Apparently. But I could only go on the feelings that I had. And then, so when we got together, there was a familiarity, like it was familiar for us both. And I was like, why does this feel familiar? Like, and and we both had this like really deep fear of like losing each other. and we just got together, and we're like, why do we have this fear of losing each other? Anyway, it went on for a while, and we used to go to this yoga class, and we had this beautiful teacher. She was very in tune, very psychic, and did a lot of alternative healings and things. And she actually said to us, you know, you guys have had a past life together. I'm getting that information that's why you fear losing each other again, because apparently, like, it was like some, I don't know how many years ago, hundreds of years ago in the UK, where we were on horseback and stuff, and Paul watched me get killed on my horse and like all this horrific stuff. But it was funny because we didn't remember that. Obviously, you're not meant to have memory of your past lives, but they can't. But we had this like emotional response of like being terrified of losing each other, which we'd never had with any other person. So it was weird. Who knows? But he felt familiar, and we were terrified of losing each other. And it was like this really strong emotional response.
Yeah. Part of me like wants to do a past life regression, and the other part of me is like, do I want to know? I don't know.
I've done one.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. I was in my 20s and I went with my dad. I think it was just my dad, or was my sister there? I can't remember. Anyway, and I saw my it was so weird. I've had a past life with my brother, but not as my brother. And he was coming in giving me all this advice, and he's felt that as well. He just like, I feel like I've known you before. But I had this really weird experience where my sister, it showed me my sister. My sister and I have always had like a interesting bond at times. And this past life that I got showed in the regression was that I was her servant and she was the queen. And I was like resenting her because I was her servant. And what really is crazy about this was prior to this regression, I was in the library one day and I found this old book, and it was like a picture of a queen on it, and the face of the queen, it was like someone who was in history, so it wasn't a makeup, like, what's that? Okay, I can't talk. It was a non-fiction book, so it wasn't fiction, and oh no, hang on. It was fiction, but it was based on a true story. This photo was of a queen, and the face on it was my sister's face. It was the creepiest thing I'd ever seen. I was like, oh my God. And I took a photo and I was like, oh my God, this looks like your face. And then I found out that I had this past life regression, and she was a queen. And it's funny because she has all these mannerisms and things where we've always like jokingly said, oh, you act like people are your servants and everyone should treat you a certain way, like you're the queen. And yeah, so I don't know. It was weird.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this. I love hearing about this kind of thing. It's just so interesting. Um, yeah, I love it. I love.
But you can, oh, sorry, you go.
No, you go.
But you can also do meditations where you can see yourself in a past life. And I've done one and I truly feel connected to this, which is the Native Americans, the Indian, like I've had so many visions, dreams, and meditations where I see myself with like the long hair. And I always felt really connected to Pocahontas. Like I just love that movie so much. And when I've had dreams and guided meditations, it's taken me to the trees, the willows, and like I see all these balls of energy, colored energy, and they like, yeah. So I feel so like I've had a past life in that, and it really hits home. And I don't know if you felt this because you lived in Canada, so
Yeah.
you would have maybe experienced a bit of that sort of native culture, maybe? No?
Oh, experience it. Yes. Yes, I
Like in
did.
the artwork and stuff, when you see it when they're selling it, like I really felt so connected to the artwork, and oh,
Mm.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Mind you, most of the time when I was in Canada, I was like drunk. So
Different time, different you.
very different me. It's either drunk or hungover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, like that indigenous stuff I am fascinated by. And um we were watching 19 was it 1923 or something, the one of the prequels to Yellowstone. We're watching that TV show, and or maybe it was 1880, no, whatever, one of those ones. um and they follow the storyline of one of the Native Americans, and one, it just makes me so angry, like how they were treated
Mm.
um in colonization, um and the schools that the kids had to go to, they just pulled them away from their families and had to go into these schools. And because the priests and the nuns were doing God's work in the name of God. Yeah. um but just like seeing their tradition, how connected they are with the earth, and and I mean, you even see it now with the names of places here in Australia. And I think like Jimboomba, right? That's a
Mm.
suburb here. And I think in the native language, Jimboomba means like hail or storms or like something like that, right? Like they just are so connected to the land. And um I just wish that as a society we were more connected to the land and just realized how like we just respected it and just really um yeah, just like feel the vibrations of the earth. Like it's just
Yeah.
so cool. um when we first moved into this house, this is like the thing that Ryan always like refers to. This is when he was like, okay, you've actually properly lost it. We've moved into this house, and I was like, I'm going to do a land offering. I'm going to do an offering to the land fairies. And so I got like these like fruit or like vegetables and herbs and stuff from the garden and laid it at the tree, and was just like, I'm
Oh,
here in peace,
I
and we're
love
here to look
that.
after the land. And Ryan's like, you've lost the plot. He's like, what are you doing? It's like, look, they're the spirits of the land, and we come in peace, and we're here to have like a, work and live cohesively.
Yeah.
And yeah, I believe that in those things, and I mean like the Scottish and the Irish absolutely do.
Yeah, I just got this vision of you, like in Ireland, like in past life with fairies and forests. Like I just saw all of this. Yeah,
Well,
for
the
you.
the fairy trees in Ireland, right? Like there's this superstition that if you cut down a fairy tree, or if they're building a road, they won't cut down a fairy tree. They'll build the road around it
Good.
because it's bad luck to cut down a fairy tree. Um, and I just love that type of stuff. And maybe they're not like fairies like Tinkerbell, but there's definitely different spirits,
Yeah.
and I think it's really fun, but also really really cool just to connect to them and just be like, look, we come in peace.
Yeah,
We also
that's
want to learn from your wisdom.
yeah.
Yeah.
You've obviously had such good like since being in your place, your everything just sort of effortlessly seems to happen with the gardens and everything like that. So you've definitely built that connection because everything's growing well and yeah, it seems really good.
Yeah, I mean, veggie garden's not gone as amazing at the moment with the heat. I mean, I blame the soil. The soil's not great, but that's okay. I'm working on it. It's work in progress. Um, but uh, yeah, it's definitely. I think I've done quite a bit of work on their house energetically. I did some feng shui. Like I worked with a feng shui lady at the beginning. And a lot of things weren't going right for us at that point, and that's why I was like, I'm gonna do feng shui. Like maybe it's the house. And look, maybe it's stuff worked, maybe it didn't, but again, I don't know, like after I did my energy healing certification, I was like, you know what? If the energy's not balanced in each room, can't I just do an energy healing just to balance out the energy, like as
Yeah.
opposed to doing all of these um different, knick-knacky things and having different colors in the room, or like having water or metal and stuff. I'm like, can't I just even out the energy through my own energetic healing? So that's literally
Yeah.
what I did. I just went room by room and just cleansed the room and balanced out the energy. And yeah, like I just don't feel like I've had any issues since. I just feel like things have just gone really smoothly.
Yeah.
And at the same time, were all of those things that were not working out for us, was that just a sign for us to actually go in a different direction? And we're just like
Mhm.
getting hit up against this brick wall and trying to like get through the brick wall. Um, yeah, I
It's
don't know
such a
where I
good,
was going with this.
no, I was just gonna say it's such a good thing that it's a good time to do that sort of stuff now, like cleansing houses, like being spring here in Australia with the spring cleaning. I have this desire to cleanse stuff and get rid of stuff and simplify things.
Yes.
And just sort of sell off stuff that I'm not using or give it away or whatever. But also, yeah, I you've just reminded me I need to go around and do some clearing and healing in all the rooms, and I have this like window washing kit that I really want to use and do all the windows because apparently that's an energetic thing too. If you're outside and external windows are dirty, it doesn't let things in or out or something. I don't know.
Well, I have had it on my list to clean these windows for a very long time because they are filthy. Um, so yes, that is a very good time to do the spring cleaning. Um, I think it's just important, yeah, to just like declutter, do a cleanse. I
Yeah.
think it's just like with anything. I mean, we have everything cyclical and we have spring for a reason.
Yeah.
Um, Not just for um like season wise, but just everything in our life, right? Like Rachel and I were just listening to a podcast before about the economy and how there's all these different cycles that are happening in the economy, and we're about to end and one cycle and go into another cycle. Everything's cyclical, and there's always a beginning, middle, and end. And I think yeah, it's a beautiful way to just like honor the beginning, like honor these cycles, and that's what
Yeah.
like you were saying. Halloween is all about that. It's like dying off the old to make way for the new.
Yeah. Releasing the past to make way. And I know this comes up with moon cycles. Obviously, we have the moon cycle every 28 days. So there's opportunity in that. And, even we've spoken about this before. As women, we are cyclical beings. Like, we are on this cycle and we're in tune, like, we mirror the moon cycle. I actually got this really cool tea the other week, actually, when I was in Tasmania. And it's a moon cycle tea that you can have throughout the 28-day cycle to balance yourself. All the herbs help you as a woman, whether you're in menopause, whether you're having PMS, no matter what. If you just feel unbalanced, this tea just helps you feel like rebalance hormones. I was like, this is great.
Like
Yeah.
what's in the tea?
It's got ashwagandha in it. I'm
Uh-huh.
pretty sure it's got spearmint and peppermint. Um, what's the other one that I know a lot of? There's heaps of herbs in this. Oh, there's rose. There's I can't remember. I'd have to get it, but it's really good.
Sounds really good. We should have a herbalist come on. I'd love to learn about all the different herbs and how to use them to support your body.
Yeah.
I just even find it so fascinating without because Rachel and I have the same acupuncturist,
Mm.
and like her culture is all about working with foods and different herbs and using those in different seasons and how to support your body just with different food and herbs. And I just think it's so cool that she grew up learning about that and just it's just like second nature to her, knowing, okay, well, we're in winter, so we're going to eat these kinds of foods, or
And we're going
when
to slow down. Yeah.
yeah, and she was even saying to me, because she's at the moment, I'm seeing her to do a mother warming session. So after in
Oh,
postpartum, she gets like mugwort and does that over my room to like because there's a space in her culture that once you give birth, there's this openness and this space, and the body runs cold. So it's about bringing heat and water
yeah.
into the body. And so
Wow.
she's like, eat lots of red food. She's like, eat beetroot and goji berries and all that kind of stuff. And I love learning about the earth and vibration and all of those things and how it
Yeah.
can be used to support us. I mean, that's what our ancestors did centuries and centuries and centuries ago. Um, so yeah, it'd be really cool if we got somebody on to talk about
I'd
it.
love that. That'd
Yeah,
be great.
right. I'd froth over it. Love it.
Oh, wow.
I feel like we've come to an end.
I do too. We've talked for an hour. We're like, we don't know what we're going to talk about today. And look, it's an hour.
Um, um, well, I'm not doing anything for Halloween. I think we're going to get a storm actually, so that's nice and spooky.
I know, right? I'm looking at the weather here and the thunder going, okay, this is great. Might not get
Mm,
many trick-or-treaters.
yes. Do you get trick-or-treaters?
No, no one can be bothered to come out this driveway. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, we've never had trick-or-treaters either because again, we're in a battle axe. So, yes. But
Isn't it
anyway,
funny? We both live like off the street, hidden. We're like little tucked away in this little. I love
I
it.
love it. I love it. It was so weird living in Melbourne and being right on the street. I was like,
Yeah. I don't think you can go back when you've had that you've been removed. You're like, I can't go back on the street. I don't want to see cars go past my house. Like, no. All right. Well,
yeah.
thank you, everyone. Happy Halloween. I hope it is bringing you lots of light and connection with ancestors, removing the past, and making more room for the new.
Till next time.
Till next time. Bye.